Hello guys, once again welcome back to another Android app development tutorial. In this video here I am going to show you how to integrate a floating context menu with a recycler view. So here we have an example. So when user make a long click on any of these items, the floating context menu will appear. So we can start with a new Android Studio project. Create a new Android Studio project. Specify the application name. So here the project is created. So first here I am going to add the needed dependencies for this application. Here we need dependency for using RecyclerView. We need dependency for using CardView. Also we are going to display a snack bar, so we need the design support library. Now sync project. So now the project sync finishes successfully. So now go to the activity main.xml, change the root element into a coordinator layout. Now specify an ID for the coordinator layout. I name it as root view. Now we can place our recycler view. And now specify an ID for the recycler view. I name it as mRecycler. Now specify scroll bars. So now in this project we need some fruit images. So here I have some fruit images. Now I am going to place all these images in our Android Studio project. So copy them. Now open Android Studio project. I am going to place it inside the drawable folder. Now all the images available inside the drawable folder. Now create a layout resource file. I name it as item layout. This is the layout that represents each item on the recycler view. So here we need an image view and a text view. So here I already create the needed item layout. So this is the layout that represents each item on the recycler view. So here the root is a card view. We have a linear layout with orientation horizontal. And here we have an image view with ID fruit album. Here we have a text view with ID fruit name. So now the SRC attribute is only for testing purpose. So we don't need that one. Also on the text view, the text attribute is only for testing purpose. So this layout represents each item on the recycler view. So now we can create a bean class. So create a new Java class. I name it as fruit. Now create some variables. First one is fruit image ID. Now create another variable, is a string variable, fruit name. Now we need the getter method for these two variables. So create getter methods. Now we need a constructor for this class. So create a constructor with the two parameters. Okay, from the constructor we set values for these two variables. Now go to main activity. So now inside main activity we need some variables. So first I am going to place an integer array that contain all the image IDs. So here this is an integer array that contain all the image IDs. So we need simple private variable. Now we need the fruit names. I'm going to place the fruit names into the strings.xml in the form of a string array. So open strings.xml. Okay, now we can add the array. So here I already create the string array with the array name fruit names. Okay, so this array contain all the fruit names. So now we can create a new Java class. This is an adapter for the recycler view. I name it as recycler adapter. This class extends adapter. So implement the needed methods. Now here create some variables. Create a list of type fruit. Now we need a constructor for this class. So the constructor need one parameter is a list. Now initialize the list. Okay, now from the get item count method we can return the size of the list. Okay, now we can create the view holder class. So create the view holder class, and this class extends view holder. Now it need a constructor with the super implementation. Now here create some variables for image view and a text view. Okay, from the constructor we can initialize the two variables. First initialize the image view. Now initialize the text view. Okay, so now set the generic type. It is the view holder object. So this method, the return type is an object of the view holder, and for this method the first parameter is an object of view holder. So now we can create here inside the view holder. On create view holder we can set up the layout for each item. So create the view object. So now from this method we have to return an object of view holder. So return new my view holder and pass the view as parameter. So now from the onBind view holder we can set resources for the image and text view. So first we can set the text on the text view. Now we can display the fruit image on the image view. Okay, so now the adapter is ready. Now go to main activity. So here create some variables. First create a string array called fruit's name. Now create a list of type fruit. It's an array list. Okay, now we can initialize the fruit names variables. Get the string array from strings.xml. Now here I am going to create a method called getFruits. Now create some variables in count equal to 0. Now start a for each loop. String fruit name. Initialize this with this array fruit name. Now create an object of the fruit class, new fruit. First parameter is the ID. So get the ID from the integer array. Now second parameter is the fruit name. Now add the object to the list. So fruits.add and add the object. Now increment the variable count by 1. Okay. So now create variables for RecyclerView. Now create variables for the adapter. Now we can initialize the RecyclerView. Now initialize the now set the layout manager. We need the linear layout manager. Now set has fixed size into true. Okay, now we can initialize the adapter. So before initialize adapter we need to get the array list. So call the getFruits method. Now we can set adapter for the RecyclerView. Now we can initialize the adapter and pass the array list. Now set adapter for the RecyclerView. Okay, so now we can test it. So run the project. Okay, now the project available on this virtual device. So here we have a RecyclerView that display fruit image and fruit names. So when user make a long click on any of these item, we have to display the floating context menu. That is the next segment. So first go to the item layout. So here the root element is a card view. So first we can set an ID for the root element. I name it as card view, mCardView. Now go to the adapter class. So inside the view holder class create some variables for the card view. Now initialize the card view. Okay, so now you have to implement an interface called onCreateContextMenuListener. Okay, now implement one method. So here you have to implement one method called onCreateContextMenu. So from this method we can create the menu. So by using the menu parameter, I'm going to add the menu items. So you can call the add method. So here you have to pass four parameters. First one is the group ID. So here I pass the adapter position as group ID. Second one is item ID. I pass 121 as item ID. Third one is order, and finally is the title for the menu. Now add another menu item. So here I pass group ID as adapter position so that user can identify which item is selected by the user. So for here the second item is ID 122, order 1, and title added to wish list. Okay, now call the set onCreateContextMenuListener on the card view. So now we can test it. So run the project again. So now when user make a long click, now the menu appear. We add two menu items. Now we can add a title for this menu. By using the menu parameter, we can add title. So call the set header title and specify your menu title. Now we can test it again. So now here we have a menu title. So now we can handle the click events of these menu items. So for handle the click events of the menu item, inside the activity class you have to override a method called onContextItemSelected. So first here I create another method called displayMessage with one parameter message. So here I am going to display a snack bar. Now display the message. Okay, so now we can handle the click events. So use a switch case statement to identify which item is selected by the user. So here we have two ID 121 and 122. 121 for delete and 122 for wish list. So first we can handle the 121, that means delete option. So item deleted, symbol display message, return true. Now we can handle the second case. It is 122. It is wish list, item added to wish list. Okay. Now we can handle the default case, implement the superclass implementation of the onContextItemSelected. So now we can delete one item from the adapter. So create a method inside adapter called removeItem with one parameter. It is an integer position. Now remove that item from the array list. Now call the notify data set change. Now go to main activity. So now in case 121 we can call that method. So adapter dot, I think that method is private inside the recycler adapter. So go to the that is private. I changed that one into public. Okay, now we can call that method remove item. So here you can get the group ID. We set the group ID as the adapter position. Now we can run it. So now add it to wish list. Now the click events are working. Now try to delete an item. Yeah, that item is deleted successfully. Now delete another item. So this is how we integrate a floating context menu with a RecyclerView. For getting more Android tutorial updates, please subscribe this channel now. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.